Hey, Bets.
Hello, Daddy.
How's it hanging?
Yeah, it's hanging good, actually.
Good. And what are you up to?
Well, I've just finished my lesson, Daddy, my remote lesson, because as you know, and I'm sure maybe Pat and some of my family, Nanny, all know I'm self-isolating.
That is true, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's your positive thought of the day, Bets?
Well,
Enlighten me.
well, it's sort of negative, but we can make it into a positive thing,
I like it.
can't we?
I like it.
It's discrimination.
Discrimination. Interesting. So, what is discrimination?
As far as what I believe, Daddy, discrimination is when somebody's, just, sort of beating them up or knocking them down and just, saying, for example, you can't do this because you're blind, so you can't ride a bike because you're blind. You can't walk by yourself because you're blind, or maybe you can't hear because you're deaf.
Yeah.
But if they were discriminating me, then I would say, well, there's a way, and I don't think just to stop me doing something. You don't need to discriminate me because that is not acceptable.
That's a really good example. Yeah. So, you are blind, so you have a disability, don't you?
Yeah.
And people can actually discriminate against you because of that disability.
Definitely.
So they could say, like, you can't do something because you're blind.
Yeah.
So that's a really good example. Thank you for that. And has anybody ever done that? Do you feel as if anybody's discriminated against you in the past? Can you remember that happening?
No.
Has it ever happened? It hasn't happened to you?
I don't think it has.
Well, that's really good, isn't it?
It might have happened, but I can't remember it.
Well, the fact you can't remember.
Well, actually, Daddy,
Go on.
somebody, Daddy, did the completely opposite to discriminating me.
Okay.
They helped me out.
Oh, great.
And it's a boy in year 1 called Danny.
Oh, well, that's great. So I think that's really lovely.
I think he's like South African or something. He calls me Betsy, because he's
got a South African accent.
Yeah. And he's like, and one day I was a bit sad. Obviously, nobody was discriminating me, but they're sort of like pushing me out of the game. I don't know why. They're boys, basically. They're classic of boys, yeah. And he was like, he's a really kind boy, basically, and he was like, look, Betsy, why are you so sad? Can I help you out here?
Oh, well, that's lovely. I think it's a real testament to your community and your school that you never feel like anybody's discriminated against you. That makes me happy. I think that's a really positive thing, that you live in a lovely community of supportive people. So, talking about discrimination, can you think of any other types of discrimination? So you've identified disabilities.
So we can be like, so it could be like, have you heard of Lady with Colour, Daddy? So it's like all different colours. Like Asians can be, sort of lighty brown. Africans can be black.
Yeah.
And they could discriminate you because you got a different skin.
Different skin.
Yeah.
That's very true. Do you know what that's called? If someone discriminates against you because of the colour of your skin.
What's it called, Dad?
Do you know what it's called? Can you remember?
Yeah.
Racism.
Oh, yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah. So that's true. So sometimes people can be...
Discrimination and racism is like the same.
Yeah, it's discriminating against somebody because of the colour of their skin. That is racism.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. Yeah, and I think it's quite a hot topic at the moment. There's a lot of people talking about racism.
Yeah, it's actually, I think it was in September or October. It was what's it called? It's like Black Month year.
Yes, Black Lives Matter.
And it was like
Black History. It was Black History Month.
Yeah,
wasn't
that's it. And we was like looking at videos at school on the whiteboard, but obviously I couldn't see, so somebody described. But the good thing was it was like all talking basically.
So it was raising awareness.
Or Daddy, you could say, like, if somebody had a disability per se, they might discriminate you, or maybe the colour of the skin. But they could also discriminate you, Daddy. Daddy, have you ever been discriminated against?
Not really, no, because I don't have a disability. People are less likely to discriminate against you if you're white. It just depends where you live, to be honest. But I can't say I have. Maybe I've been discriminated against.
You know Miss Coffin, Dad?
No.
I don't think she was discriminated against, but a girl was really mean to her. She punched Miss Coughlin on the nose.
Well, that's just mean, isn't it? Yeah. So
And that I think that girl thought she was a boxer.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Got a bit confused. Just going back to what you were saying about racism, I think that's really interesting. What I found interesting is that you've been quite sort of interested in racism before, and you told me some interesting things about the lady on the bus. Do you remember that?
Yes,
You learnt?
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks, yes. So she was quite a inspirational...
Shall I tell the story to the folks?
Go for it.
So, Rosa Parks was a wonderful lady. And one day it was a very hard day at work. Okay, and that's the baby crying. And basically, some white people on the bus. So she got onto the bus to drive home, and a white person was on the bus, and they said, "Take up your seat because I'm a white person, you're black, so you can't sit there because you're black and I'm white, right?"
Yep.
So they were discriminating against her, and she said, "Well, no, because that's not really the way how it works, is it? It's really just you can sit in any seats, because seats are seats. Do you know what I mean?"
I know exactly what you mean.
It's really horrible, because people who are maybe black who are watching this YouTube channel, Daddy, or maybe got different skin than me, don't feel like somebody can discriminate you, because that's not the right choice. So you just say, look, I myself, do what I do want to do. And guess what the really funny thing is, Daddy?
Go on.
Black people even had different churches and toilets to white people.
I know, it was called segregation, I think, and it was very, very unfair, wasn't it? So what's important about Rosa Parks is that she made a stand, didn't she?
Yeah,
she
and even though she was put in jail, as my cousin might call it, jailers. Yeah. She was put in prison quite a lot. Well, maybe once or twice or 3 times. She, stuck with that, and she got out. And she, made the right choice, and she, made the world a better place, really.
She did, didn't she? So she stood up for herself, and she stood up for other people as well, didn't she? So she really started a whole new way of thinking that actually...
What I might do, Daddy,
Yeah.
I might put a video, because I know there's a few videos on YouTube about Rosa Parks.
Yep.
So what we'll do in one video, we'll play a video of Rosa Parks. But there was actually a black man, Daddy, which I'm sure you've heard about, is Martin Luther King.
I have, yeah. He was a very important man too. What did he say?
But Daddy, guess what, Daddy?
Go on.
He was so, he was so sort of attempted to make the world such a better place that
right,
they actually killed him.
I know. That's it. Some people don't want things to change, do they?
It's outrageous, isn't it?
It is outrageous, actually. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was very tragic. He tried to do good things, didn't he? And he tried to change people's way of thinking. And some people didn't like that, did they?
No, not at all.
But he still did, though, didn't he? He still made a really significant impact.
But I think he pushed people's buttons a bit too much.
I think you're right, but sometimes you have to do that, don't you? If you want to make change, then you have to upset people sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
So, but that's really
interesting.
interesting.
That's the problem most sometimes.
I think it's really good that you understand that. And can you think of any other discrimination? So you've got because of disabilities, because of people's colour of their skin. Is there any other types of discrimination?
Or people have people like Lisa, for example, who needs to go in, who can't walk as well.
Yeah, so she has that's a type of disability, an illness. But what other types of discrimination? Can you think of any others that people you might say you can't do that because you're...
Well, the funny thing we're speaking about discrimination, Daddy, is because I was actually literally starting to spot making up a song, Daddy, and it was like the people who have short hair you push out because the other team has got long hair.
Oh right.
I was actually making up a song about that. So the team who had long hair was pushing the short hair teams out.
Oh no, that wasn't very nice, was it?
Yeah, so I made up a song about that.
Interesting. We'll have to have a little play of that song another time, shall we?
Yeah. Obviously it's not an actual song, but no. I just made it up.
I know. So what about things like, can you think of any other types of discrimination?
Not really.
No? So what about if somebody was like a certain age and someone said you
Oh,
can't...
yeah, age, sorry. Let's say to go to Tom.
Yeah.
You can't speak Italian because you can't remember all the words.
Yeah, because you're
But
too old.
actually, look, he's 98.
Yep.
And he still remembers Italian.
He does, doesn't he?
So, really, discrimination is all nonsense.
It is a bit silly, isn't it?
We can do anything we set our minds to. And I think I'm going to leave it there, Daddy, as today's positive message. You can do what you leave your mind to, yeah?
I think that's a fantastic message. I love it.
Like, share and subscribe.